This is a part of the creek I've never really fished before. Thought I'd give it a try. Trying to stay out of the wind. This is a wind protected area here, and the water's moving good. It's deep. It's kind of mud bottom. It should be really good for fish, but so far it hasn't produced. Thought it would. Oh, it just did. And there's a fish. I don't think he's big enough. He might be legal size, but he's a fish. I caught him right in the top of the mouth. Look at that. Right in the top of the mouth. I'll be darned. He wanted it. I'm going to put him back. Well, I caught him twice. How many times have you ever seen that happen? He just wants to stay with me. Come here, fella. Let's get you back in the water. He wanted to stay with me. But you know what? He wouldn't want to stay with me long, because I could have eaten him, and he knows it. Well, that produced a fish. Let's see if it'll produce another one. We'll try it out there again. It did produce a fish, though. I was right about the mud bottom. I was right about the moving water. And the clarity's good. Should be fish in here. It's really cold. And the water temperature is it's 60 degrees. It's warmed up a little bit from 57. Still pretty cold though. Still pretty cold. But it did warm up a little bit. And that 3 degrees can make a big difference for these trout. There's no question about that. 3 degrees can make a big difference. Notice I gave it a little bit of extra action just in case I had one trailing. Sometimes if they're trailing like that, they will come and bite it. Okay. All right. So we're going to let this one drift more out a little bit. Cast it out. Kind of let it just kind of drift as it may. In the wintertime, it's a good way to fish. The fish feed on that current, and they're generally just hunkered down in there. They're not moving much. So the bait just makes it natural for that bait to just come right in front of them, and then they'll just sit there and eat it. The advantage of moving water. I don't know how some people fish in a kayak sitting down. I can't do it. I miss more fish if I'm sitting down and I get a strike. I just miss the fish. I don't know what it is. I got a better angle, I think. Holding the rod up like this and popping it. I'm more out to set the hook in a good way. And I'm down there. Okay. So we're going to try one more position here, and then I'm going to go back to where I had those other fish. When I first pulled in here, I threw this prawn, and I had two big fish following it, and one hit it right at the boat and dropped it. I don't know what it was. I don't know if they were this little school of reds, or if they were puppy drum, or they were big trout. I don't know what they were. Saw them, but it was just right when I was reeling in, and I was sitting down, yeah, and I didn't get him. I did get a hit, but didn't get the hook on him. There's some big flounder in this area too. I've caught some big flounder in here. Sure have. I have caught some big flounder in here. One thing I haven't done is gone straight down that line there. Could be a fish in there. We're going to see. I'm the type of person that has one more cast in me all the time. Always one more cast. I remember one day I was leaving at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I needed one more cast, and I came in and it was dark. Yep, just one more cast. Well, I kept saying that, and I kept doing it, and I kept doing one more cast. And just about the time I was going to actually leave, I think it was around 5 o'clock, knowing that I was already missed what I needed to do at 3 to leave. By then it didn't much matter. I was just saying, well, I'm just going to go on in, and then I caught a big old redfish, and I was hung up until dark. So I think we've all been there, done that, and most of us have a t-shirt to prove it. I got a fish swimming right there. That wasn't a fish. That must have been a redfish, the way it looked like that. Let's just throw him out there and see if maybe he'll bite this. That was definitely a fish going through there. Nice wake. Let's see if I can't get him to hit. There's a mullet jumping around here. That's a good sign. We got a mullet jumping over there. Let's see if we can't. Maybe there's something following it. Sometime a redfish will get behind that mullet. Mullet will turn up some bait, and that redfish will come in there and try to eat it. So we'll give him the bait. How about that? We'll just give him the bait. Trout do the same thing, but I've caught more redfish following mullet than I have trout. Sure, it's pretty out here today. It's not too bad temperature. Probably 58, 59 degrees, somewhere in that neighborhood. Wind's a little cold. Got a northwest wind today at 8 miles an hour. It kind of chills through you a little bit. Yeah. Come on now. I know there's trout all in this creek. There's no question about it. There's trout all in this creek. It's just getting them to hit. All right. Well, that was fun. I'm going to go back to my old spot. We'll be right back. He's under the boat. Ooh, it's a big old trout. That's a big trout. That's a big trout. That's what I've been looking for. That's what I've been looking for right there. That's what you wanted right there. That's a big trout. Come on, trout. Get in here. Get in here, Mr. Trout. There you go. Oh, that's a big trout. That's a big trout. That's a big trout. Yeah, it is. Let's see how big he is. I think he's... I have to go back. I think he's going to be too big. Let's see how big you are. You sure ate it, didn't you? Ate that prawn. Yeah, he ate that prawn bigger than the devil. Oh man, he's a big fish. I don't know what you'd weigh. Let's see how much you weigh. How much do you weigh? You weigh 2.5 pounds. It's a decent fish. That's a good fish. That's a good fish. That's a real good fish. That's a pretty fish. That's a nice fish. Let's see how big he is. Let's see how long he is anyway. This fish, I have to extend the board out for this one. Let's see how big he is. All right, Mr. Fish, let's see how big you are. Okay, you are 20 inch. Alright, you're a 20-inch fish. Alright, you gotta go back.